What's up, everybody? You're getting your daily dose of LoweTivation. This is episode 254. I wanted to talk about something very important that definitely can be a big obstacle in your mental and your physical journey, and it's something that I'm always focusing on and looking at where I'm doing it and trying to do the opposite and work against it. And in certain areas, I'm having a big problem with that, and that would be self-punishment. I think everybody does it. Every human does it in some form, some sort of degree of self-punishment. I think some of it can be brushed off and you can move on from it easy. I think some self-punishment is a habit that is developed over time. I know that it's something for me that has started since I was young, and I think part of it was being mentally and physically abused by certain people in my family. They might have called it discipline. I think I would call it abuse for sure. And I think feeling like you're so small and so worthless and just so low on the totem pole of life at such an early age, I think that kind of makes you feel like you're not worth anything, and you develop this habit of not liking yourself, treating yourself like shit, and you can still be a really good person. In fact, a lot of the people I know that do high degrees of self-punishment are really amazing people, loving, caring, and they respect anybody they meet. They treat everybody with just such, love and respect, but they don't love and respect themselves because at some point they were told they weren't good enough. They were told to keep their mouth shut and to basically punish themselves for any little thing that they do. And it becomes a habit that you develop at a young age, and it's really hard to break. Some people might be doing self-punishment right now and they don't even know that they're doing it. I know some people have pointed out certain things that I've said or things that I do and tell me that it seems like I'm punishing myself or that I hate myself for some reason. And at first it sounds kind of crazy, but the more you analyze the things that you do and look at where they're connected, you might realize that you are punishing yourself for something and you might not even know that you're doing it. So that might be something to look at if you're talking to a therapist or a specialist of some sort and you think that you might be doing that in an unhealthy way. Whether you're punishing yourself in a physical way, some people cut themselves, some people allow themselves to get beat up by people. Whatever it is, if you think that you are mentally or physically punishing yourself in a very unhealthy way where you might actually hurt yourself or other people, definitely try to get support, find out a specialist you can talk to, and just see the steps that you can take in a healthy way. Because I'm not a doctor, I don't know those steps exactly, but what I can tell you, the self-punishment that I'm doing, I'm probably gonna go talk to different specialists as far as, I feel like my major self-punishment is definitely with food. And it's something I'm trying to work on, it's something I'm trying to dive into, but I do it over and over and over again. I've been doing it since a very young age, so it just feels like a normal part of my life. But now that I'm working on things, you work on so many different avenues of your mental and your physical health, and there's a lot of things to touch up on, especially for me. And so you kind of put your focus in other areas, but I'm closing in now that I'm working on so much. It's like I'm doing all this stuff over here, and I'm making great progress, and and it feels great. But then in the corner over here is the self-punishment, and I see that clearer and clearer every day as I work on the other things. I'm like, I really need to start diving into that, and I know it's something very important, something very psychologically deep, but it's something that needs to be done. And I think a lot of us that do the self-punishment, we're good people and we've just been through some shit, and at a very young age we just started this habit, and now it's something hard to break. It feels like a normal part of life, but it really isn't. You are worth more than what you're telling yourself. If you are like me and you beat yourself up, you hate yourself, and you're having a hard time forgiving yourself for things that you've done in the past. For me personally, a lot of it's tied to letting myself get as big as I am, as big as I have been. And it's something I need to learn to work towards forgiving myself and work towards you know, a lot of it is like the positivity I talk about. Being so negative all the time. I spent so much of my life just being so negative inside and out, and didn't really try to fight it. And now that I'm working on things, it's getting easier to throw positive thoughts at myself when I'm being negative. And even though I'm seeing a lot of progress in that, and it's great, I still see myself punishing myself in certain ways by degrading myself, making jokes, doing things that I know that are not going to be good for me. But you know, you tell yourself in those moments where you're eating just an insane amount of food and you know that you shouldn't be doing that, or other people might be doing drugs, other people might be drinking, gambling, things that you know that are going to hurt you or other people, but you do it because you say, fuck it, you know, my life's a mess, I'm not worth it. You know, whatever you tell yourself to allow this self-punishment. Although a lot of people that do it, probably if you saw someone else hurting themselves, doing something that's gonna ruin their lives or hurt other people in some way, emotionally or physically, you would probably stop them and be like, why are you doing this? But somehow you've justified it within yourself. And I know that because I do it still today. And even though I'm working every single day, I'm finding it to look more and more ridiculous that I'm allowing myself to do that. So for me, I'm probably gonna talk to a couple of specialists in different areas as far as with food. I want to talk to a therapist just to bounce ideas off of and add some changes to whatever I'm working on mentally, because I'm not a professional, obviously, and it can't hurt to get a second opinion and other ideas and all of that stuff. But I'm just saying, if you're like me, and you know that you're punishing yourself, even though you don't deserve it, you can start working towards not doing that. And it might be as simple as accepting that you do that and getting out of denial and starting to plan on how you're gonna work on your mental or your physical health, and stop punishing yourself, because you shouldn't be doing that. You deserve to be happy. You are a great person, you know, and you don't have to do it, and you might not even know you're doing it. So somebody might watch this and you might realize, you know, that you are doing it, and you can stop. You can, and I'm talking to myself too, because I know I need to work on it, and I need to focus on it every single day. And as I do work on it, I will let you guys know how it goes, and maybe I'll learn a few things from some of these specialists, and I'll be able to pass it forward. If it's something that I feel like you don't need to go in to talk to somebody about to do, such as throwing positivity at your negativity. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that could help lighten up what you're working on, and it's definitely a good step. I don't think anybody needs to be a professional to know that trying to be positive and throwing positivity at yourself when you're being completely negative and you're completely punishing yourself, I don't think that's a bad thing. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Is I know it's something that I do, and I'm working on it every single day, and I wanted to point that out in case maybe you're doing it and you don't know, or you are doing it and you want to change too. I know it's possible, and I'm working on it every day. So whatever you're going through, whatever you're doing, I'm right here, trying not to punish myself, because I know I deserve to be happy, and so do you. So much love.